What's going on, everyone? Today we're here with Tiffany. Now, Tiffany travels the world, and yes, she's been in a lot of places I promise you I probably wouldn't have been, but she can explain that to you. So, Tiffany, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right, Tiffany, how did you do it? How did you say, you know what, I'm going to just start traveling in different African nations and even in the areas where the animals are located?
I just thought it would be fun. After the Black Panther movie, I personally thought a ton of people would want to start traveling, but people are afraid. So I said to myself, hey, if I go do it and I do it alone, maybe they'll look at me and say, hey, if this girl's doing it, I'm going to go travel too. It helps the economy for the people, and it's just a total mind reset. It makes you feel good, and we need that today.
So you said they was afraid. What were they telling you to give you that impression they was afraid?
Well, a lot of people that I talk to, just like you, say, well, I don't want to be that close to the animals. I don't want to fly for 24 hours to get someplace that I don't know anything about. And they're worried about getting diseases. They're worried about just all different kind of things. I mean, getting stuck over there in another country. They have all these worries that are not even real.
Right. Well, when it comes to animals, I don't do that here unless those animals are somewhere where I have a cage in between us, because I don't trust a lion. And I know I talk about hyenas a lot, but I don't want to really pet one. But so we saw that you was at a resort, I think in Kenya, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the animals were literally right outside your door, which it looked cool. Like the little monkeys and stuff is cool. But how was it with the cheetahs and the lions? Explain that.
Well, I was in a big Land Cruiser truck most of the time when I could drive like right next to the animals. And for some reason, they've become used to the cars and things going by. So I wasn't really afraid. And I honestly wanted one of them to like jump on my truck or do something exciting so I could film it. I wasn't afraid. And at nighttime, actually, the different places would have you get security to walk you to and from your room if you wanted to come out at night. But usually by the time nighttime set in, I was tired because these game drives start at like 6 in the morning when the animals are out and when they're hunting, basically.
All right, so the game drives start early in the morning. Now, do you recommend, because you know, a person like myself got kids and everything, do you recommend the kids go on those game drives at that particular resort that you were staying at in Kenya?
Yes, they will love it. It will be a life-changing experience. They will talk about it forever. It's going to be something that bonds you together. You're never going to forget it. It's going to be an experience of a lifetime. They're going to love it.
So how many African nations have you traveled to so far?
This is probably the 5th one, and my first safari was in Namibia years ago. I've been to Ethiopia, I've been to Morocco and Egypt, and although they're far north on the continent, it's still Africa. So.
Right. So you said that the Black Panther movie inspired you, and we've been noticing that the Black Panther movie has inspired a lot of people. Have you noticed, at least when you were in South Africa, have you noticed anybody talking about the movie or talking about the revolutionary changing that's going through the world right now?
I have not, and I actually spoke to my guide, who is a Maasai warrior, and basically I was telling him about the movie, so he's going to watch it. I talked to him about the movie Get Out, which I know is a little bit off the subject, but it's funny. Like, I talked to him about a lot of different things, and he was unaware of these. You get Wi-Fi here and there, but I didn't feel like he was so connected to America like you would think everyone is because we're so ethnocentric. But no. And that was one of the problems that I have, is a lot of Americans are not traveling, and it really bothers me. Whenever I do the tours, it's typically Australians and British, and I'm the only American there. And I'm like, where are my people? And especially, where are my Black people? So I'm hoping to make a difference in people's opinions and get them moving. Like, this is good stuff. This is life-changing experiences.
All right, let's talk about the different methods to travel to get over there. Because believe it or not, we have some black people that's afraid to fly. Now, do you know if any boat trips? They'll have no excuse. Do you know any boat trips that take you from here to an African nation?
Phil, I don't. And the flight, it took me 24 hours. I mean, there was 4 different connections to get there. It's difficult to get there. I'm not even going to lie. But it's just something you have to do. The flights are nice. You're watching movies the whole time. You're having food and drinks every hour. Like it's a good deal. Like it's not scary. That's one thing that people have to get over. Even my dad, he's never flown. I get it, trust me.
I never understood that either, because I remember the first time I ever flew on an airplane, it was with a job, and oh boy, I thought that was like the greatest thing ever, and I was like hooked ever since. So I don't, trust me, you're more safer in an airplane than you are on the highway every day, and that's just, statistics bear that out. But so you travel over there. Do you use any kind of discounted flights? Because, I'm trying to cover all excuses that some African Americans would have, because we spend $1.2 trillion a year on things outside of travel. And why can't we at least travel and get a little worldwide experience? So what airlines do you may use, or discounts that you may use to save money?
Actually, I usually go to cheaptickets.com, and they're the cheapest. I'll look at Expedia, Orbitz, some different things like that, but Cheap Tickets is pretty much the cheapest one, and you want to book like a month out to make sure you get the best deals, and just evaluate the travel on different days if you can. Even when I was booking the flight to Kenya, if I arrived in the morning, it was $4,000 more. I arrived at night, $800. So it was amazing. You just have to get out there and research, or even I'll help people. I don't mind doing the legwork if I can see that you actually went. I'm really trying to encourage people to travel.
Now, I interviewed, you talk about Namibia, and I interviewed a lady by the name of Kaylin Shapanga. Shout out to her. She has a website called African American in Africa, and she actually lived there. Now, in Namibia, have you not only been to the safari, have you been to the more, let's say, Americanized areas of Namibia when you was there?
I went through a few different areas, and so this was probably back in 2005, so it could be different now. But I will tell you, I was very shocked when I asked my guide to take me to, I said, where would I live if I lived over here? And I said, where's the black area? I want to see that. And he told me there's different levels. So because I'm light skinned, I would live in like a middle class area, and dark skin were like in a really impoverished area. And I was really bothered by that. I was like, how does it even happen? I hope it's changed, but I doubt it.
So basically what you're saying is they're practicing colorism in the continent?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, even in Kenya, all I saw were black faces. And if you see a white face, it's a tourist. They're not, I didn't see a lot of mingling like that.
Okay, so since you was talking about colorism, that's interesting. How did they respond to you since you are light skinned? How did they respond to you?
Well, one day I wore the Maasai warrior outfit and basically was with my guide, and I thought we looked alike. I thought that I blended in. I got a special deal on a purchase that I made, and she said it was because she thought I was a Maasai. But I don't know if they were humoring me or not. I mean, I couldn't really tell you. And I met a white Mormon there, and he actually told me he thought that I was white. So I was like, I couldn't figure it out, because they're such nice people. Like, they're not going to treat you any differently. So I really don't know how they felt. I think the guy that I was with, El Mansu, he really liked me, and we made a connection. And I hope they realize, like, I'm one of them. And the few that I met, I told them, like, if you come to America, I'm going to show you how to get the best deals. I'm not going to let you get ripped off, because that's what happens as well when you travel. People see you as an American and they think you're rich. They have this bartering system there where, you could go to buy something and they'll tell you it's $1,000. And it's like, it's a carved elephant. And you're like, $1,000? I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can fly back to America. And so then they start coming down, and it's like, okay, well, how about 500? And I'm like, I don't want to be insulting, but I gotta go. So before you know it, it's down to $100 from 1,000. So
Well,
yeah.
well, the question I have is, $100 their money?
No, our money.
Oh, come on now. Now I've done a lot of research into the currency, and we both know the American dollar goes extremely far over there.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. That's amazing how they try to charge you in American dollars. So that's another thing we can talk about currency. Do you change your currency at your bank before you go over there, or you do it when you land?
I get a little bit of money when I land, just basically for tips and stuff like that. But most of the time, the people, they don't mind having that dollar. They really don't. We have
Really, that's interesting, because I thought they would want to trade within I think what Kenya used shillings, right?
Yeah.
And Kenyan shillings versus the dollar. I mean, you go over there with $2,000, you balling.
Yeah.
You making more money. You have more money in your pocket than what some people make in a year over there. I mean, and that's amazing.
That's the truth. Because I did ask my guide. I said, would you rather have your tip in shillings or US dollars? What do I wanted him to feel comfortable. And he was like, it doesn't matter. I think for the people, the tribes people that live right in the tribal areas, maybe it's difficult for them to get to a bank or change over money or something like that. So when you purchase from them, I would say make it in the shillings, because they're selling things on the side of the road for $10, $5. They're just trying to get whatever they can. So.
Right. Yeah, I can understand why they would take the dollar, because I mean, a dollar goes a long way in Kenyan shillings from what I saw in my research. So I was also looking into certain properties that's over there in Kenya. I want to say Nairobi. I saw very, very nice homes they had over there. Did you have a chance to go to Nairobi and look at some of the properties out there?
I did not, but when I mentioned something about real estate, my guide was like, I don't even want to go there. He was basically making me feel as though if you purchase something, it could be a problem. Maybe they can take it back from you somehow. I'm not sure. I can't really speak on that.
That's interesting, because the Chinese is all in there buying up things. So that's very, very interesting. So outside of the flights and getting there, so what countries do you suggest that a black person from America visit when they first go to an African nation?
I want to pick Kenya. I want to pick Kenya because everyone is so friendly, and you're going to see so many different animals. It's amazing. And the tents that you stay in are luxury tents. You still have your bathroom. You still have your hot water for showers. You still have a vehicle that's safe. The guides and the people that help you, they're tremendous. We got a flat tire, and I promise you, I was like sick. I was dreading life. 10 minutes later, we were on the road. 10 minutes flat. There was one point where we came to where the road had washed away. I was sitting there like, okay, my whole tour is ruined. I'm not going to be able to do anything. 40 minutes later, they had another road built on the side of that. Like, these people are amazing. Like, it's just amazing how quickly things happen. Can you imagine waiting at AAA in America? You'd be sitting there for a couple hours.
Yeah, that's definitely true about them, or unless you got someone that you can call in family members like old school. So you talked about getting a travel company, starting one to take people over there. What would be the overall package? Let's say if you had this company now that people have to pay to do travel, hotel, etc. Because some people, unfortunately, within our community, they get the income tax checks. And instead of saying, I can use that check to travel on the government, how much would they normally need? Even if they're trying to cut corners, save money on flights, what's the average?
I'd say about $3,300 could get you to a great country for about 6 days.
Okay, and that's round trip ticket?
Yes.
Okay.
you really have to do your research, but you can do it. I mean, I know people are thinking like these trips are like thousands of dollars, like 10,000. That's what my aunt told me. I don't have money like that. I'm like, it's not what you think.
Yeah, and that's the problem with us, is that we don't have a lot of knowledge. So that's why, we're asking people like you. I had another brother, Dynast Amir. He travels to African nations a lot. I don't know if you've seen his YouTube channel, but he really goes deep in the rural areas with the brothers and sisters as well. So $3,300 will get you to and from. It lets you go stay in a nice area, 3 square meals a day, right?
Yes.
3 square meals a day.
And vehicle.
And in the vehicle, so it really is no excuse. Now in South Africa, Johannesburg, is that like a pretty big city over there in South Africa?
Johannesburg is one of the biggest cities. It's not where I can tell you too much about at this time. It was years ago when I went through there, so I wouldn't be someone to speak on about that. But I will be headed there soon.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm talking about cities like Johannesburg and maybe Nairobi is because, do you know there are people in America that really believe that all African nations are the Feed the Children commercials?
I do know that.
Black, white, whatever. They really believe that.
I do know that. Those commercials are old.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is those commercials that have such an imprint, even in the time of the internet. As I was looking at some properties, like I told you one day in Nairobi, I had some people around me saying like, "Where's that at?" And I told them it was in Nairobi, Kenya. And said, "That's in Africa?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, I said, "What do you think?" He said, "I thought it was just a lot of mud huts." And I'm looking at them like, "Well, how you figure?"
No, they have everything. People are driving Mercedes, Land Cruisers. I've seen the big houses. Like I said, I had no reason to go into them. Beautiful restaurants. I mean, just what you see on TV is someone trying to capitalize on those people. Hopefully they're getting some of that money, because there are poor people everywhere, but there are rich people too.
Right. So as a Pan-Africanist movement going on, it's always been Pan-Africanism, and Marcus Garvey, wanted us to take our talents to African nations. And there are many black people that are starting to do so. Al Jazeera did a big piece on it where a lot of African Americans are moving to African nations. Now, do you recommend that to continue to happen since you've been over there?
I do recommend it, because there's a lot of opportunity over there. And these people need our help as far as economics, and the travel industry really helps them a lot. And so that's how I feel I'm helping them as well. When I went to Ethiopia in December, I did a GoFundMe for a certain village, and they were able to feed about 15 families for the next couple months off of $200. So
really,
yeah, I was happy about that. But then I realized just having us come in there and just having people with our tips and purchases and being over there and hiring them, they need us there.
Yeah, they do. And I just had a conversation not too long ago with a few people from Ethiopia, trying to make some, arrangements for us to get out there as well. Because have you went to the Shinda Festival in Ethiopia yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah, you should go to that. That looked like that's something pretty cool. We had covered that last year. I wish they had something like that here in America, for the, black women and girls. It's it's just a good celebration, and all of the vibrant colors they wear, and how they just enjoying themselves. So, Miss Tiffany, I want to ask you one last question. Outside of, you said that we should move over there, we should travel over there. Do you believe Africa is the future?
I believe Africa is a beautiful place to visit. It could be a future for many people, but I wouldn't want to move there because I'm so pro-America. I'm sorry, I'm stuck, because I was in the Air Force for 26 years, so I kind of love this country. But it's definitely a place you want to visit, and the opportunities are endless over there. We as Americans are not doing what the other countries are doing. So we definitely need to put our footprint over there and pretty much be ambassadors to that country, and it's a good way to help them.
Right. I guess I'll just see things just maybe a little different with the future, because if China is constantly trying to be in African nations, you always had America try to be there. The Russia is trying to be there. Everybody's fighting to be in African nations. I'm like, why not African Americans aren't fighting to be there? Not only just visiting and assisting the brothers and sisters, but actually, like you said, making a footprint, creating businesses. You know, some of us not going to move over there. I get that. But a lot of us should even consider that. Because, you know, we just covered, they just had a story of a young man in Sacramento. He had a phone in his hand. He was killed by the police, you know, and you talk to many people in African nations and say, man, the police not killing us behind no cell phone over here. You know, and there's just a whole lot of things that you just don't have to deal with here versus African nations. And, you know, a lot of people just really just taking that move. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to be one of them that moves, but I will certainly come visit you if you do.
I got you. Hey, America's home to a lot of us. I understand, but I always tell people have your options, because you never know the way things are going. People bombing places, shooting up schools. You just want to make sure you have options. So, Tiffany, how can people get in contact with you?
On Instagram, I'm Tiff Travels the World. On Facebook, Tiffany Mullen, Las Vegas. Snapchat, Tiff Travels the World. Just reach me on social media, or even on here, and I will respond. I want to help people.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will put all her information in the pinned comment, and then you can go and check out her videos. You know, send her a comment, ask her if you need any help with traveling or flights, or, you know, some of you may be planning that you need help. Tiffany also stated earlier that she may even take some of you with her, correct?
Yes, come on, let's do it.
All right, so she stated that as well, so you won't go by yourself. So, Miss Tiffany, thank you for joining us on the show today and educating us about your travels in African nations, and I hope you continue to doing so.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.